summertime, summertime, summertime. It's 5 o'clock and I'm punching out. This long weekend's what it's all about. Gotta get home soon so I can show and shine. Getting ready for a good time. Got my bag all packed and out the door. Gonna hit that corner liquor store. A taste of moonshine, gonna give me some cottage country. Here we come. The lake's so calm, the sky's so blue. I can't find a better place than to be here with you. You know I like that sweet wine, summertime.
So listen, I'm excited to have you on my show because I've stumbled across a term that I'm seeing. Now that you see it often, and that's fiddle rock. And I love the expression fiddle rock because...
Well, thanks for having us.
You know,
fiddle rock.
Having
Fiddle
both
rock.
of you...
We started fiddle rock.
Who did?
We did.
You did?
Yes.
Yeah.
I hope that's patented. It deserves to be because it's being used a lot now. And myself, a purist growing up, I was a big admirer of violinists in music. In specific cases, growing up in the 80s, I went backwards and I listened to a lot of King Crimson and Mahavishnu Orchestra. So my guys were the David Crosses and the Jean-Luc Ponty's, the ones who took their instruments and it just transcended itself, like Jeff Beck. When I see you play, Steve, I'm filled with that same sense of like you're channeling something wonderful there. What does it mean to be regarded as a master who is someone who is of the fiddle rock genre?
I don't know. I wouldn't be master. Wow.
Well,
That's really nice. I don't know. I've been doing it a long time. So I guess if I haven't figured it out by now, I should give up. But yeah, I don't know. I started messing around with lots of pedals and stuff like 20, 30, 40 years ago. I was messing with pedals, wah pedals, crybabies, distortions and stuff. And you got to learn to play with it, right? It's a whole different world.
Isn't it interesting, though, that the instrument itself, I think, is like criminally underrated? I mean, if you think about going to the movies, right? If you go to the theater, in almost any kind of genre of film, whether it's a drama, a thriller, a supernatural horror, the violin makes an appearance. It is the crescendo of our fears and the things we love most. Why is that? What makes the violin so compelling, in particular the fiddle, and the way you use it with your performances that makes it stand above the rest of other instruments, I find?
Well, I think it speaks, right? The violin speaks. You can do a lot of things on the violin. It's basically like a lead guitar that never shuts up.
but he can make people cry.
Well, I mean, it's got the whole classical orchestra in that kind of side of things, but then it's also got...
It's an emotional instrument.
Yeah, but it's also like a lead guitar that never really stops. So, you've got to pick your notes carefully because they really shrill, they really cut through, and it stands out. It certainly stands out, like bagpipes stand out.
Well, and Nancy standing next to you, Nancy, you're wielding the axe, you're supporting the music, you're sometimes stepping out in front, but what's it like to be next to Steve and look over when he's in the proverbial zone, where that moment of, cosmic sweat that comes from channeling a feeling just washes over him? What is it like from your perch?
Well, I'm really lucky because I'm married to Steve, so I get to see him create even in the studio, and he comes up with stuff, and it's mind-blowing. You're just like, well, like, where did this come from? It's like totally different than what we're doing, or something like that would happen. So, and he does it on stage all the time. Like, it's never the same solo. It's always like something new, and you're just like, whoa, I love that. Like, what was that? It's, it always changes.
Wish I could retain some of that.
Well, I mean, 15 years is a long time to be playing a large catalog of music. How many songs do you figure you have collaborated together, written, and performed as a band over the years?
We have a list on our EPK page on our website, but I guess there's probably about 150, 200 songs there that we can do on call at any moment.
But you mean original repertoire, or?
I mean, if you go back to your discography, you've got a number of studio albums that you could pick out and go to the original fans from 14, 15 years ago.
Oh, Lord.
The next generation. How do you decide what to do with such a big set list, potentially, for the music?
Oh, I mean, we lived in different places, too, and we played in different places. And on the beach, we were doing 100-song set list that had nothing to do with anything we do here. So, I mean, it was lots of beach music, lots of reggae, and lots of Magic from Toronto, bands like that. We were doing lots of that
we've
stuff.
really kind of went through different styles through our career. Like
Yeah.
we started with Celtic.
Very
and then-
Celtic, very Celtic. We went very Celtic rock. Then we went into like heavy metal kind of fiddle rock.
Yep.
And then we dance, and then we overseas we were doing big dance shows, and then we slowly evolved into a country band.
Yeah.
Over time.
Isn't that interesting that that's the peak of the evolution? You know, most people dismiss country not realizing that in country itself, you can do things with music that other genres can't. And if anyone taught us that, it was the great Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but country music has really changed too. The doors are really open now to everything. There's a heavy metal country, there's dance country, there's pop country, and so our music being a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and we pick and choose styles just that we find fun and that people like to dance to, and you can make it all kind of have a country vibe about it. You know, our singer's got a very country southern rock voice, so that kind of sells it right there, you know, and it's just a nice route. People like country music. There's lots of country music festivals, and we have a great time doing it.
I love that term, that genre, heavy metal country. I mean, that sounds like something that Metallica may have fathered inadvertently, right? As they became more commercialized. You know, you think of some of the songs off the Black Album, the ballads. Isn't that just kind of hinting at a little bit of country when all you're used to is thrash and metal?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you hear Steve play AC/DC on the fiddle. It's just another level.
I would imagine you go to a lot of levels. I watched a recent short from one of your performances where you were playing the intro to Bob O'Reilly, right after you were doing what many people recognize as almost like a classic melody from childhood, and then all of a sudden they're hearing you. And again, the fiddle amplifies sound in such a way that it really starts piercing the heart. It's like you said earlier, Nancy, that's why he makes people cry, sometimes literally, sometimes metaphorically. At the end of the day, it's doing something to their spirit.
Yeah, no, it's just the hairs on the arm, you know, like when he does Chardis, he can go into classical world, and that's another level again. So
yeah, I'm all red. I don't know, you're not filming this, right?
Well, we're doing everything here. We're going to multi-layer this. We're filming this.
Right.
I want to ask you about the name because I'm fascinated by it. It's an expression that a lot of people use that usually is associated with people who may have been born 2 generations ago.
That's a toy.
Fiddlestix.
Yeah.
Right. Why Fiddlestix? Because
it's taken us a long time to
taken us a long time to get
toy.
noticed on Google just because the Fiddlestix toy is so big.
Yeah.
And Fiddlestix is also a term. It means you kind of said that when things went wrong, right? You'd be like, oh, Fiddlesticks. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, when we first came back from Thailand, from our first trip over there, we hooked up with a really good drummer friend of ours. He played a lot of the bodhrans and the big war drums and stuff. So it was just Nancy, him, and myself, and always looking for his sticks in the bag. And I was always looking for the fiddle, and it was Fiddlestix. And that's sort of where it evolved for us.
Yeah.
And then we saw that the toy was so huge. So we swapped out the CKS and put an X there and just had fingers crossed, and it's sticking.
And that shows in your enthusiasm on stage, because I don't think you guys take yourself very seriously. Everything's professional, but I see the interplay, and it seems like you're having a blast out there. It's almost like we're prepared, but anything goes because we want to feel good tonight.
Yeah, it's all everything at the moment, right?
And I think that our band really focuses on being the band that, like, you want people to dance. We're only playing happy, danceable music.
Yeah, it's
we're
all
not,
very upbeat. Yeah,
we do the odd slow one, but I mean, mostly we're like 90%
we're a party
upbeat.
band, right? We're upbeat party band. We're a tailgate party. That's what we try to be, and
it's fun.
That's the energy we try to present.
We like the fun.
And yeah, we like the fun times. That things go wrong, things go right, things go irate, but you got to try and keep it all together. And if you manage to pull it through, like some of these crazy parties we do with some of these kids, and you don't know what's going on anymore, and there's beer all over the place, but you got to keep it together. And when you get through that professionally, you feel like a champ. Yeah. And you feel like it's good job, you guys. Like we're getting older, and that like 30 years ago we'd have messed this up badly, you know. But now we got our heads on a little straighter and can keep the show together. Yeah.
There's definitely this profound synergy with your audiences, I'm finding, which comes from, again, not just touring for a long time and being active, but like you said earlier, trying to evolve your sound. I think of some of the recent interviews I've had with some of Eric's clients, like Errol Starr and Tribes, Mark Jordan, 5440. these are all musicians who've been doing this for a long time, and they're constantly active to keep their souls rejuvenated. Is that what music does for you now? I mean, it's a world gone mad. It's all about warfare, genocide, pain and suffering and grief. And yet you guys are like
Now more
ointment
than
and
ever.
tonic, you know,
More than
now
ever.
more than ever. But this is why I think your audiences are able to connect with you in ways you probably aren't even used to anymore. They're looking for a reason to feel happy and joy.
Well, that's it. They're looking for the good time to get away from it all.
Mhm.
And we're there for them.
Yeah.
We're going to make sure whether not even 10 people show up, they're going to have the best time, because it doesn't matter who comes. It's all about the time they have. And that's how the word spread.
Yeah.
Is that something that you set out to do in the beginning? I mean, you said yourself you don't mind being perceived as this fun time party band, but musicians who find you, I find that the consensus is they're in awe of your talents. Isn't that an interesting duality, that to the layperson you're just there to have a good time, but to the serious musician you're there to honor your craft?
That's really, 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 really amazing to hear. But it didn't start like that. When I started this, it was a really serious project. We were going into the most difficult music you could find, the most intense breaks. We were looking for musically really challenging stuff. And a lot of times I found the audience just didn't relate to it. I found we were just playing to ourselves. We were more there for ourselves. And for a few years, that really just didn't work for us until we started introducing some songs that people like. And then you start seeing the reaction. You think, oh gosh, we could really rock some ELO, or we could do this, or we could do that. And all of a sudden we started trying it, and it just, the band name got bigger and bigger and bigger. And we started writing more in that direction. Before, we were writing songs that they were gypsy orientated. They were very heavy Celtic. They were very violin, very classical.
It's hard to be original right out of the gate as a Celtic band. And that's kind of where we started.
I think that's how it is. But like most people don't want to come and listen to you.
Originals.
Yeah, original.
Right.
Like Celtic.
Yeah.
Heavy Celtic, you know, and we got into that's kind of where we broke away into the rock and roll thing. And we said, hey, we can go Celtic rock. We can go fiddle rock. We can go beyond Celtic rock to this zone where nobody's there, right? There's nobody in this area where they just put violin instead of guitar. And I was doing a show with, when I first came back, I was working with Michael White in the White. And I was playing a lot of shows with him, and he'd have some fantastic players on stage, and we were doing all Zeppelin. And by the end, he wasn't even bringing the guitars anymore. So I was doing all of the guitar stuff on the violin, pedals all around me, a big circle of pedals. And I thought, this is insanity. And that's when it really took off, that, hey, I can do this. I can wail with distortion pedals and wah pedals. And I'm just going to go that route for a bit. And I think maybe we even went too heavy. We went too fast and too heavy. And
you have to pick your venues properly too.
Yeah, it's about picking the right venues. We were taking that show into our Celtic venues, and they were dumbfounded. They didn't know what to think. They would.
Well, you didn't want to be pigeonholed, and you didn't want people to put you in an archetype or style, right? I mean, it's natural to think that most fiddlers will come out with a Celtic or East Coast sensibility, but it's the ones who evolve, and what I call, they become fusion artists. They start understanding the importance of taking what they've always enjoyed in their hearts and figuring a way to make the instrument adapt to their heart rather than try to find the best technique. Two examples of this are Chris McCool from Sultans of String and Irish Millie, whom I both had a chance to speak with. And like you, they both said that their roots came from that, but evolved into something different where people can now regard them as a little bit of folk.
Don't get me wrong, there's artists in Canada that have taken that because they're so bred into that. Ashley McIsaac and Natalie McMaster, and these people, they're born and bred East Coasters, and their fiddle playing sounds it, and they really are the real deal. I mean, I can mimic that, but they're the real deal with that. And so it's a different thing, you know. It's something you gotta admire, that really some people are very traditional and it works for them.
You remember that classic King Crimson album, Red, and Lark's Tongue and Aspic, songs like that were recorded with a violinist who just happened to meet a band at the right time. You know, I think of the great Jean-Luc Ponty and what he was doing with Mahavishnu Orchestra, and I can't help but thinking to myself that he was on another planet, that what he was playing was almost like asking a bass player or guitarist to start improvising, and then as the instrument evolves, you realize you can go anywhere, you can do anything. And I think that's where your audiences have so much fun. They don't just love the music and the vibe, but they're looking at how you guys are collaborating with all the members of the band, and they feel like this is like watching a Rush. This is like watching someone who cares about the technical arrangement as well as the stylistic sound.
Well, that's really nice. Well, you have to look at the elements that the other band members have to offer. I mean, we have the best, what I consider the best singer in Canada that plays drums. Like, Scott is the best singing drummer in Canada, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will agree with that. And so we got to focus a lot on his singing. Like, we've got to write songs in his keys, and we've got to write songs in his style. He's very mellencampy Southern rock. He's comes from the band the Beat Heathens. They've got a great reputation. They're just thinking back, I lost my mind here for a second, but
Yeah.
but the Beat Heathens started from a really long history of players.
Yeah.
And to be in that band in the first place, you had to be a really good player and a good singer. And we were lucky to get Scott on our team, and that's why he's our lead singer now on all of our original songs.
Score one for percussionists everywhere. Myself, as someone who grew up as a drummer, I absolutely love the idea of the drummer taking over. And of course, back when I was growing up, you had your Phil Collins, you had the great drummer from Queen, Roger Taylor, I think it was. He would sometimes step up. Even Triumph had the great Gil Moore, I think it was. And so the fact that you have, and he's a real talent. Like, I've listened to some of your videos with him, very melodic and perfectly suited so that it gives space for the instruments to do their thing while giving him his own track. His voice is a powerful instrument that way for you now.
It sure is, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, you're really, really observant on things. Wow.
Well, it's important to me that how you produce yourself and the studio effort should reflect what gets everyone inspired, and then the live performance takes it to the next level. And I almost feel like you guys are restrained with your studio context sometimes, and you can't wait to take it on the road. How much of your musicianship do you find is improvised? Like, do you have a night where you just decide, tonight we're gonna maybe take these little tracks in certain new directions, or is it always kind of consistently, let's just try to keep it faithful to the studio effort?
That's a tricky question. I mean, when we're playing in a bar and we're back in a bar scene, we experiment like crazy. People that see us see it all the time. We take a song and stretch it for 10 minutes and go through 5 or 6 songs. That's usually happens just on the moment. But now, obviously, the best moments we've kept and we've used them over and over again. But that happens at those things, but never on a big stage. We don't take those risks.
Of course not. Those are usually things that are expected to go a certain way. It's like changing your speech at the Oscars. It's not going to be admired regardless of how funny you are.
When it does happen, it's magic. I mean, when it does happen, it's magic. It's like, wow, did anybody film that?
I was about to say, there must be Fiddlestix bootlegs out there. There must be fans who've had a chance to record some shows that sometimes you wish you could get the source audio so you could say, hey, I loved what I did there. I just can't remember what it was, right?
Yeah. That happens all the time, yeah.
So tell me what the plan is moving forward, because you've I've done my diligence in researching and understanding other people's opinions of your band. So much respect and a lot of fans out there. What is the next step for the band after 15 years of doing this?
Well, we're just trying to slowly grow to where we can do this less and maybe pick some nicer places and do some more traveling. We'd like to finish this full country album we've started. We've released the EP now. It's called New Tracks, but we'd like to really finish the whole album off by the summer and have it out and put it out for some, maybe even possibly some awards, because it's a really good album. It's solid from start to finish. We have an amazing mixing guy, Taylor Barrows, doing the mixing for us. And we have Modest Heights Mastering doing our masters out of Hamilton, and just incredible guys to work with. Things come back fast, things come back right, and we're just happy with the process. So we're going to keep going. We've got 2 songs coming out in the next month. And one's called Get Up, Get Up, Get Up. And the other one's called Devil in the Barn.
Devil in the Barn.
Yeah, Devil in the Barn's a cross between Nickelback, an electric fiddle rock band, and John Mellencamp.
Unbelievable. At a time when all three of those things are starting to be in high demand. I've noticed that what comes around goes around over time, where you get to a point where new fans have a chance to learn about you. What's the difference when you come across someone who you know has been following you for, let's say, a decade and a half versus someone who just discovered you, say, a month ago? With the obvious being the age difference, I'm sure. But what is it like when you have brand new fans who come up to you for the first time and say, Nancy, Steve, this was unbelievable. I'm so happy.
Yeah, there's a difference for sure. I mean,
it's
people
exciting.
that come for years know us and expect a good show.
Yeah.
And people that see us for the first time just can't believe that they saw that much energy being used to create a party. And I think that's it.
Fans.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
it's the best feeling. So
the older fans expect a good show, and they're the trickier ones to play for sure. The ones that have been around for 20 years.
Because you got to keep changing it up.
Yeah, but that's the people we have to keep changing our show for. Yeah. And then in the last month, we tried 2 songs. We tried Buddy Holly by Weezer. Right, I Fought the Law, and both of them went down in flames. So there you go. They're not going to work with Fiddlestix, and we really practiced them, and we really hit them hard, but they don't have our style, and they didn't work for us.
But we're always willing to try new stuff.
Yeah, that's it. That's for the fans that have been around for a long time.
So I think you're experiencing what a lot of established musicians over time do, which is the fickle nature of audiences and the fact that you can't ever really please everyone. If you get too nostalgic, you won't really be growing, and you'll feel like you're just going through the motions. Few people know that I mentioned Rush earlier, a Canadian staple. Few people know that Neil almost left them after their Signals album because he was just getting bored. He felt like the band wasn't advancing or expanding their sound. Have you ever felt that, Steve and Nancy, where you reached a point where you say to yourself almost consciously and existentially, we got to move forward on our next studio album. We need to take our tour in another direction because maybe what we're doing is starting to feel a little stale?
Yeah, we're kind of right there now.
Yeah.
Really?
That's what we're doing. And next year we will be looking overseas. We will be looking into more opportunities that way. We're all home for family right now. I mean, we're all at that age where, family members are getting older. So we're all around for that kind of reason. But we can't wait to get back out there. I mean, do some touring.
Well, I have to tell you that as I've discovered your music, I think that more and more people will eventually find that if they take the time, they'll reveal something to themselves that is almost like an epiphany of the heart, because your music is so fundamentally upbeat and positive in its nature, and yet you delve into subject matters that are all about getting over the hump. In some cases, getting over addiction, getting over depression, and your heart being low and bringing you up. Tell me about some of the experiences you've had where you've had someone in the audience and that maybe you played something that was more than just somebody being happy, but maybe someone saying, you know what, Steve, you know what, Nancy, I'm inspired because you guys showed me that there's something to stay inspired about during tough times.
Well, we've had probably a dozen or more couples that got married through our show.
I was going to mention the same thing.
That just became fans.
We've
hooked a lot of people up at our shows. More than a dozen, I can honestly say. And we've played for their weddings. And that is really a great feeling. You watch them come. You see this lady come week after week after week, and then all of a sudden this fellow comes, and then all of a sudden before you know it, these two are together, or this guy and this whatever. And people just hook up at our shows, and I think it's just they get on the dance floor together, and that's it. And they form a moment. And from that moment, they keep coming, and
note to guys who are looking for
if you're looking for a nice lady, come to a Fiddlestix show because there's lots of them there.
Lots of opportunity there.
You see, it shows you that the stage is set. You've built it, and they will come, right? An opportunity for people to experience the music. And as we know, music can do so many things to heal one and give them positivity and the dopamine hit they need to feel good dancing, right? Especially whether it's at night in front of the moonlight or during an afternoon or in a restaurant where everybody's shaking. I looked at your upcoming touring schedule. You're going to a lot of places that will have a lot of people and will be tight fits. What's it like when you go to, let's say, a restaurant or a pub where it's not necessarily a big restaurant, but it's going to be rocking because it's going to be wall-to-wall excitement waiting for you?
Yeah, we did that last weekend. It's dangerous. It's hard on the instruments. We bang into each other a lot, but it's a lot of fun. You're sweaty. It's hot.
Up close and personal, though, is really nice for the audience and us
Yeah, it's nice
you
to
know,
see your closest fans right up close to you. And yeah, it is challenging. Like things get banged around for sure.
when you're on a big stage, you got a lot of room. Sometimes you don't even see the audience.
And that's
'cause the
challenging too,
lights-
because it takes that
Right.
much more energy to keep the energy going all over that big stage. So a small
Yeah.
bar sometimes, even though you're banging into each other, it's less effort than a big stage
Yeah.
per se for energy for our band. Yeah.
For sure.
And there's no question, like you said, it can be pretty. There are adversities, right? Temperature, people, whether people are being rowdy, whether instruments are all working properly. I mean, mishaps happen, but your band strikes me as being very resilient. It seems like you're almost willing to accept that if something can go wrong, it likely will. But you
It
guys will
will.
be ready.
It goes wrong
We've
all
had
the
a
time.
lot
Something
go
goes
wrong.
wrong every show, but it's just not to let anybody know. That's the trick, right?
Keep that smile on your face.
Absolutely, I totally agree with that perception. I learned that you spent, was it a month in Norway? And
Yeah.
you had a chance to go out and travel. Talk to me about what you're planning with your travel plans and what it means to go out and tour the world the way you have.
Do you want me to just tell you where our traveling started?
Summarize.
Greg?
Go ahead, and yeah. And then I can-
2001, Nancy and I got married. We went to Thailand. We loved it. We ended up on the beaches, and we ended up putting a band together in Bangkok. We traveled the islands. We traveled to Singapore. We traveled to Cambodia. We traveled all around. Then we met this guy who owned the Violin Corner Bar, and I thought that was interesting. We walked in. He decided to sponsor me, endorse me, and we put together a team of 25 girl dancers, top of the line.
Costumes.
BDC Tarot, which is equivalent to like Walt Disney dancers there. We did costumes, the wardrobes. We put together the Electric Violin Rock Show. And we toured that around all throughout Southeast Asia for a few years. We came back to Canada, and then that's when we started Fiddlestix. And about 10 years ago, we got called back. We were there during the tsunami. When the tsunami took out most of Thailand, we were there, and we went back for the memorial. We met up with a whole bunch of people. We did Al Jazeera television. We did a memorial special broadcast with them on the beach. And we ended up opening our own bar. We fell in love with Thailand all over again. We opened our own bar called the Violin Corner Bar. And we ran that for 2 or 3 years. The King of Thailand died. We had to stop playing music, and we had to close the bar, unfortunately. And we came home, and we started Fiddlestix right back up again.
Yeah.
Best origin story ever. I have
But
to tell you.
6 months later, we took off to Norway on a 1-month tour because we met a couple in Thailand that owned a group of bars across Norway. So they flew us on over and put us on a fantastic 1-month tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there it is, the beginning of Fiddlestix.
The beginning of Fiddlestix, there it is.
You guys have a lovely arrangement where you're a couple, you're together, you're performing music, you're being there for your family, you're being there for your fans. How much longer would you like to keep doing this?
Till we're not here anymore.
We're dead.
I don't think you retire from this job, and even if you financially could, I don't think you would want to, because I think you'd be bored not creating something, and this is what we do best. This is what we create best. So I imagine we'd always come back, and we could play till we're in our later years. Maybe we'll end up in a bunch of retirement homes in Florida doing some music, but yeah, that's the goal.
I can see you guys doing that, releasing a double album at the age of 80. There'll always be a love and need for music.
Live from Miami,
Right?
Steve and Nancy.
That'd be
Yeah.
funny.
Keep on rocking in whatever's left of the free world, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Continued success to you both. I appreciate your time today, and I hope that with your upcoming tour and your support of your new studio album, that everyone has a chance to have their first ever Fiddlestix experience.
Hey, thanks for making the time to talk to us.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah.
Sun is shining as I hit the gas. Wanna get there quick to make a good time last. Weekends with your friends is such a blast. My bare feet gonna touch that grass. The lake is cool, the sun is high. A few tricks are gonna hit the spot. The whole gang's here and that's quite a lot. I think you know